lesson? Racially profile me not. There's this story with these African American ladies. One was 17, one was 19, and their mother was in a car in a shopping center, and it was in a rental. It was a Cadillac. And of course, these police pull up on them, and we already know the color of the police. So basically, when the police officer, approached them, they were sleeping, and he knocked on the window, and she was talking to him. And past the basic questions, I wouldn't answer no more questions. So the guy tell him the reason why he approached them is because there was some break-ins in the area in the cars around that time in the morning and stuff like that, which have nothing to do with him, of course. But because they was in a nice car and the skin color, he was profiling. Needless to say, as the video go on, they detained them for no valid reason and put them in handcuffs for no valid reasons and all of this stuff. Well, that day them officers decide to mess with the wrong one. That woman did the right thing and got an attorney. And she even said in the video that, don't worry, we're going to get an attorney. And she sued. And she was awarded $8.2 million. Now, I said that's a good windfall. And even in the deposition, the attorney was saying if they were white women, it would have been different. Good on them. And I'm happy that the family got this award. But needless to say, these officers got promoted. And then you want to tell me that this country, there's no racism in it, right? Right. Time and time and time again, we see these stories. People being profiled because of the color of their skin. People getting things pinned on them because of the color of their skin. And whatever you want to insert here. Of course, it's a good thing that these ladies pull out their cell phones and videotape it. And that's why you have to videotape your interaction with the police, no matter what they say, because you can't trust them. You never should trust them. I'm pretty sure when they went to the attorney office and they present the evidence, like, hey, this happened and stuff, the attorney was just rubbing his hands like, oh, we got these fools. Your constitutional right is still intact to some degree. But if they can't give you probable cause of why they're stopping you, or even when they ask for your ID, you don't have to show them your ID unless they give you probable cause. But of course, you already know. You fit the description, right? Right. Even though I tell you my story and I gave you the reason why I'm here, I could be lying, but more than likely, if you're quote-unquote trained professionals, you should be able to decipher who's lying and who's not. More than likely, majority of the people that you run into are not pathological liars. They're going to always give you language of the body that will tell you whether they're lying or not. Remember, the police don't work for you, especially when there's melanin in your skin. The government don't work for you, especially if you have melanin in your skin. And the age-old saying, you're guilty until proven innocent, stand true. And it's in this story the same case. These women were doing nothing wrong. Reading into this story, they was actually going to some school for one of their daughters. And they had to experience this type of BS because the officers were biased. And the woman knew her rights. I know she wasn't doing anything. She was just a law-abiding citizen in the wrong place at the wrong time. And of course, they ain't gonna learn from their lesson, the officers. And they gonna continually profile people because of their skin color. If they were women of Caucasian descent, they would have just bid them adieu and have a good day. But because they skin color and they was driving a nice vehicle, probably even nicer than what the officers have for their own personal vehicle, they're like, nah, you can't have this. You gotta be doing something underhanded. You gotta be doing shit illegally. And come to find out that these people, this woman and her children, law-abiding citizens and everything above the board. And they was going to help that young lady, one of the young ladies, better themselves with a higher education. That's why you need to be careful out here. And it's so sad that you have to watch how you move. And how was these individuals supposed to know, especially if they're out of town, that this area have break-ins, especially around this time in the morning, that have nothing to do with them? And I have nothing to. You should have already know when they tell you they were from out of town and they didn't know. That should have tell you something. But your dumb asses want to think that you above the law because you supposed to be quote unquote the law. And you know where that $8-point-something million come from? It didn't come from the police officer's paycheck. The taxpayer had to pay for that. And that's neither here nor there. But we need to start holding them more accountable. But will there be any reform and change? No. You're foolish to think otherwise. You've been taught.